Peace, this is Flo Rogan, and this is The Art of Rhyming, episode 39. Just because you rhyme doesn't make you an artist. You know how we do. Today we have an artiste, I would say, Javi Darko, hailing from Long Island. I believe he's still there. This dude is releasing works of art, man, not just projects. This is real, authentic, unique expression. And I'm going to invite him on the live. I see we got Jock King in the house. Thank you for joining, man. It's been a minute. Let's get Javi on here. How's everyone's night? Thanks for joining Divine Poet, Ill Veal, Killing Biggs. Thank you for joining. We should have Javi joining any moment. Still cold here in Toronto, near Toronto. How are you guys doing? How's the weather? Oh, there he is.
Yo, peace, bro.
Peace,
What's
Javi.
happening?
How are you, man?
I'm doing good, bro. How about you?
You're pitch black, bro.
You can see me?
Barely, like very faint. There we go. That's better.
Everything good?
Yeah, man, we're good.
Perfect.
How's your day, bro?
Hey, it's chill, bro. Just worked, visited family. You know what I'm saying?
Nice,
Regular shit.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, work, family. Wasn't too hard of a day at work, which is always good. So more energy for these interviews.
That's
so I'm good, bud. Yeah,
I love to hear.
Are you still living on Long Island? Is that where you're still at?
Yeah. I'm born and raised in Brentwood. You know what I'm saying? Always lived in Long Island.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, I interviewed Jock King the Divine and Javi Darko. I think it was August, man, just after you guys dropped Fear and Loathing in Long Island.
Yeah.
One of my most played albums of last year, man. So
that's love.
Yeah. It's dope to follow up with you and just see what you've been up to, man.
Word up. Appreciate you, bro.
For anyone that's new here, I wanted to give an introduction. And honestly, I went to your website and I'm like, yo, your description is like dead accurate in my opinion. So I'm just going to read the description off your website.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes, hailing from Long Island, NY, Javi Darko was molded into an artist from a young age. Since a child, he has used his gift for rhyming as a way to cope with life's harsh realities. Ultimately, this led him to creating a style so raw, visceral, and emotionally gripping that Darko's fans can't help but hang on to his every word. From exploring his tortured psyche through intricate wordplay and catchy cadences to painting pictures over abstract and progressive soundscapes, Javi Darko possesses elements that will leave all fans of hip-hop astonished. As far as beats and rhymes go, I believe you leave me astonished with a lot of your bars.
That's love, so, bro.
It's not real. Cat, man, honestly. So, yeah, man. I see Wino Willie's in the house. Yo, thank you for joining.
King peace, Wino.
Dope.
Peace, everybody that joined.
So, if I got it right, last time we spoke, you're under 25, right? Right, Javi?
Yeah. I turned 23 in December.
Wow, awesome. Dope.
Yeah.
I saw an interview, another interview where you said your uncle put you onto Atmosphere, Immortal Technique, Jedi Mind Tricks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I had a bunch of uncles that exposed me to mad underground shit growing up.
Yeah. And you were saying that no one around you at school knew this shit.
Hell no.
But like you felt it was your shit, and I feel like you're a direct descendant of this shit. I kind of gathered that before I heard you say that, but you're like a direct descendant of that raw style, and that's why I gravitate towards it in part, man. So yeah.
Yeah, that's love, bro. That dark and edgy style was like just always something I gravitated towards, just off the sole fact that it was different. You know what I'm saying? It didn't sound like what everybody else was listening to, and I feel like that alone is what separated it from me, and that's what I try to continue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is there any way to get a bit more light on your end, if possible? It's not that cool. Not a big deal.
I could just go closer right here.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're good.
Word.
Thanks, man.
No, I got you.
So how's the new drop been received so far? Death of an Immortal. I believe it just dropped last week. Is that right?
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Almost 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Go ahead, sir.
Now the reception has been crazy. I feel like this is my first like real solo in like I would say like 2 years. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's been a
Yeah.
long time coming, and I feel like it's my best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? It's like a reintroduction to myself because I feel like I went through a lot of artist development in these
Yeah.
last 2 years. So
Yeah.
it's refreshing to see like people that weren't convinced at first, like now they know what's up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So that's dope.
I personally felt Fear and Loathing in Long Island was like you and Jaw King's most polished work, and I feel like that shit
Mm,
just continued for you solo with this project.
hell
I
yeah.
probably I probably spun it 10 times. Like I don't really look deeply for flaws, but I didn't notice any flaws. I listened to that shit front to
That's
back,
love,
no
bro.
skips. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Um, yeah. So I noticed interestingly, you got a track on here with Jaw King, Griot Noi, and yourself. Funny, I also interviewed
Yeah,
Griot Noi. He
yeah. I
actually
seen
had
that
my,
interview.
he, yeah, dope,
Yeah, it
dope.
was dope. It was dope. I fucked with it.
Thank you, thank you. So his album was actually ended up being my number one spin album. So
Mm,
what you of last year, what you guys represent to me, like I wasn't really tapped in with your age bracket
mm-hmm.
until I started this platform. So you guys like represent the future like generation for me. So it's kind of cool to see you all in one track. By the way, Jock King fucking murdered that verse.
Yeah, he went
Uh,
crazy. He
yeah,
went
yeah,
fucking crazy.
yeah, yeah. Your verse was crazy as well. Something dropping bombs on your Oculus, this and that,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever. It was
yeah.
it's a wild wordplay. Yeah, man.
Nah, yeah, we always keep in contact and we stay like, rapping together and sending each other shit and kind of just like a steel sharpen steel situation. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So we always pushing each other. So Noi and Ja, like two of my favorite MCs in the game currently. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Before we end the interview, I want to ask you now: is there anyone else in your age bracket I should be checking for? Because I'm always looking to interview younger cats. You know what I mean, as well. Anyone else I should be looking for that you'd recommend?
Shit, in my age bracket,
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like there's not too many people doing it like
really.
that. So I don't mean to sound like that dude, but
Right,
word. I don't
right,
see
right,
too many
right,
people in our age bracket doing what we do. But there's plenty of like older cats in the game that I really fuck
right,
with. You know what I'm saying? That are doing
right,
their
right,
own
right.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool that I'm building with all three of you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to agree on Noi on here again. We've been staying in
Yeah,
contact,
nah,
so
he been doing his thing.
that's dope. Yeah, man. So I thought I'd ask. Let me describe your new project rather than ask you. You got a
Word.
really good description again off your website.
Mm,
And then we'll break it. We'll dissect it if you don't mind. You're like
word.
after overcoming a destructive lifestyle. That's on your album 111, which is a fucking masterpiece on its
Thank you.
own,
Thank
and
you.
confronting the evils that consume his environment, Fear and Loathing in Long Island.
Mm,
Javi Darko came to the realization that his art is too precious for him to die along with it. As a result, he assumes the identity of Dark Freud. That's a combination of Pink Floyd and Sigmund
yeah,
Freud.
yes.
An audio alchemist who seeks the key of immortality through sonic experimentation, weaving his personal experiences along with occult science and ancient philosophy. We're almost done. Dark Freud takes you on a trip through the thin veil of life and death. This is not an album, but a carefully crafted oral artifact that'll be deciphered for generations to come. So
Yes, sir.
that's a pretty bold statement, bro.
Word.
Um, is there anything you want to add to that before I break it down or we break it down?
Nah, you hit the nail on the head perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot
Yeah,
to break down, and like it's meant for
yeah,
you to keep going back and like, what does he really mean
yeah,
when he say
yeah,
that? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So wanted to start with 111, which is really we kind of covered this, but it went through your childhood, which
Mm,
is sounds like a troubled childhood, if that's fair.
mm,
And did you end up finding those session files? Because we kind of talked about how the engineering could have been a bit better.
nah,
Um,
man.
Still
Nah.
no. I
The
got it.
engineer, something happened where a bunch of shit just deleted off his computer. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
album is just the way it
Got
is,
got it.
unfortunately.
Masterpiece either way.
Mm, word, that's love, bro.
Um, so I know. noticed there's a few books out there, Death of an Immortal, and one in particular I read deals with a character in New York. Is your title inspired at all by a book, or
It's inspired by a lot of books. I went digging through a lot of like ancient philosophy and religion for
Mhm.
this one. You know what I'm saying? And just alchemy in
Right?
general. So certain books written by famous alchemists like Dwellings of the Philosophers or Mystery of the Cathedrals, things of
Right.
that nature. Or it comes simple as just like ancient Kemetic texts like the Emerald Tablets and things of that nature. So I've just been everywhere and studying a lot of history and spirituality, and that's what
Yeah.
basically sums up this album. You know what I'm saying?
All stuff I've never read, but I give you props for being well read, man. And
Yeah, bro.
um, it seems to me like you've been on that shit before. Like this is just a continuation. Is that a fair statement, or
Yeah, I've been on it for years, but I've been really picking apart and working on how to put it into an album so it don't sound too dense and complex neither. You know what I'm saying?
right?
Because it's a lot to break down. So I make sure, like, I've just been crafting how to give people the right amount rather than just
Yeah,
flood them with information. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
So when I peeped that project, I didn't read the description. I just thought it was more of a continuation of you.
Mm-hmm.
But how would you say this Dark Freud, I guess, alter ego is different from Javi Darko? What does embodying this Dark Freud character allow you to do with your art that you couldn't do otherwise? If that's a good question.
It allows me to tackle topics that would be considered. Oh shit! Hold on
No
one
worries.
second. Yeah, it allows me to tackle topics that would otherwise be considered taboo.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And it allows me to not restrain myself to just one style of writing. Because you know, you take a band like Pink Floyd that was very experimental with their sound and abstract with their lyrics,
yeah,
and you take a person like Sigmund Freud who was very psychoanalytical as
right,
well as in tune with spirituality, even though he was kind of a weirdo,
right,
and you it sums up basically the lyrical content of the album. You know what I
right.
mean? It allowed me
Yeah,
to completely embody the sound that I was going for.
yeah. And speaking of sound, we'll just jump to that. You got a bunch of producers. I'm always like this isn't like a bunch of singles. This is like a piece of art that flows from
Yeah.
front to back. And to me, that's always impressive, especially when you get a bunch of producers. So you had Hobgoblin. Is he from
Hmm.
the UK? I don't know if I'm
I
making
think
this up.
so. I think so.
Okay. DJ Adobe Premiere, Bailey Daniels, Braden Potts, and you. Which tracks did you produce?
Um, I Am Become Death.
Okay.
I had a hand in Six Sense Sorrows and Emotionally Dismantled.
Nice.
And I'm trying to think, is there one more? Nah, that's it.
Got
Oh
it.
yeah, and the final score.
Got it.
And the final score.
That's a dope closer, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Ju-
Thank you.
just the instrumentation and all that. Um, yeah, and who engineered it sounds really good.
Um, I think his name is the Analog God. Yeah, Coach put me on to that dude.
Got it. Got it.
So
Got
yeah,
it.
he went
So
crazy with mix and master.
great. It was great. Makes a difference. You know
Hell
what I'm saying? To me,
yeah,
anyways.
hell yeah.
Um, so you mentioned seeking the key of immortality through sonic experimentation. Real talk, you rap about death a lot, right?
Hmm.
And how important is it for you to live through your music? Like, do you really want to be immortal through your music? Is that a real thing?
Very
Honestly,
and that was definitely like the goal for this album and specifically that album 111. I always thought of myself like the way I tackle music is I want this to really be treated like an artifact and for
right?
someone to find this years later and look at it as something to decipher and sit with and break down and analyze. You know what I'm saying? So I always fucked with albums that did that because it felt less like music and more of like a piece of art or a moment in time that is just physically embodied into sound.
Yeah,
And that's just what I always wanted to go for. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I want my music to be played in museums and things of that nature. Like once I pass.
Like as a artist myself, I definitely feel that you did that. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You strive for that, and to do it on a hip hop record is not easy. You know what I mean? To attempt to do something like
hell
that.
yeah. Okay.
Uh, so music is a great equalizer for you, would you say, in your
Most
life with
definitely.
all you've been through?
Most
Yeah,
definitely. It always just brought balance. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. You refer to alchemy a lot in your project. So for those that don't know, I'm not an expert on all this stuff. You're like the medieval forerunner of chemistry,
Yeah.
concerned with transmutation of matter, in particular with attempts to convert base metals into gold or find a
Yes.
universal elixir. Occult sciences, uh, such as alchemy, astrology. Is this stuff that you believe in, or it's more stuff you're interested in?
I believe in a little bit of everything. I'm very open minded, but obviously, things can get a little too hectic and far fetched at times.
Right.
So I just pick and choose what resonates with me the most.
Yeah.
And I try not to take everything too literal, but more as a metaphor and allegory, because at the end of the day, that's what it all is.
Yeah.
But it's not something I firmly believe in, but it was the basis for how I was trying to tackle my subject matter. You know what I'm saying? I
Got
wanted
it.
to appear as if I was an alchemist back in the day, or
Got
a
it.
modern day alchemist. You know what I'm
In
saying?
in audio form.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying here. Got
Yeah.
it. Um. Yeah. So, how long did it take you to put this together from end to end? I'm going to pull out a few quotables if you don't mind in a minute. But I thought I'd ask you how long it took you from end to end to put this together.
I mean,
I feel like you've been working on it from the time you first announced that you've been sitting on it a bit. Right.
definitely. But the recording, it took no longer than like the album was written, recorded, and everything in like 2, 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 3 to 4.
Right.
But what really took a while was the mixing and mastering, because I went to another engineer and it was a whole mess. But we ended up putting the pieces back together and coming up with a dope project. So
Right.
it took a while. You know what I'm saying? It was a process, but it was worth it in the end. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and I wanted to ask you, like to me, this is a work of art, and you don't necessarily need to drop a million projects. But I imagine sometimes you might feel pressure in this climate to like keep
Mhm.
dropping. Do you feel any, or do you have a different strategy with how you're going to be releasing projects moving forward?
I don't feel rushed or like pressured to drop a project, but I feel like I just do it in order to push myself. You know what I'm saying? I always want to push myself and stand out. And I feel like dropping a quality project like that at a higher volume, maybe not every month or every 2 months like a lot of these artists do in the underground, but definitely, what I mean, within a 6 month time span, like I want to put a
Right.
project out. You
Right.
know?
I
Yeah, I
I
had to. You just got to remind people a couple times a year that like you really fucking do this. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
that's how I'm coming moving forward.
Got
Yeah.
it. And I hate to impose my thoughts and opinions on others, but I personally feel like your albums are heavy. Fear and Loathing in Long Island was heavy.
Hmm.
That's the only reason it probably wasn't my number one spun album is it's heavy, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's better for me to like, take a break from these guys for 6 months and then get hit over the head again. You know
Of
what I'm
course.
saying?
Of
With
course.
the heavy shit. So yeah, man, it works for me as
Yeah.
a
Me and
fan. You
Ja
know what I mean?
really make music that you can sit with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
another
yeah,
reason why we don't really feel too pressured to move in other people's timing, because there's
yeah.
plenty to pick apart. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I have like a certain category of people that watch my show. They don't even care who I'm interviewing. They just like the dialogue. But with that said, I want to give everyone an introduction to you. And I picked out a quotable that I think pretty much sums up your state of being right now.
Hmm.
You can let me know after. So it's track 6, Lust for
Hmm.
Life. Now you're rapping over like a chilled out like 50s. I don't know if it's a jazz sample or
Yeah.
elevator music.
Yeah.
It sounds like another day at the office, but it's the perfect juxtaposition for your verses, man. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna quote your first verse if that's cool with you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You're like, I'm from an area where living right is dead wrong, and all the Jill Scotts on Scotch and hair on. My neurons afflicted with images in my head, suppressing the memories of getting molested as a kid. Let's dwell on it. Shit is relevant. Been living celibate. Cause bitches been climbing and mounting me like I was Everest. Devilish, sentimental, sexual fetishes. Primitive agendas tend to get a little repetitive. What's life? It's strife struggling on how to love her. when you lack an example of your mother as a wife, wondering why my father figure missing in my household. All I got is a knocking my mama out cold. Great shame he ain't noticed how the doubt flows. A bullet with his name split his frame like the Alpode. Some other bars, and you're like praying to the ancients for my safety. I didn't connect that last bar,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought that was like just a potent set of bars that seem to describe where you're at. Is that a fair? Did I choose the right bars?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the whole tape was very reflective. That's definitely one of the darker songs on the album. So
Right.
I'm not always there, but I was definitely there at that moment. You know what I'm saying? When I
Yeah,
wrote it.
man. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I thought the hook was clever. You're like, but if karma's a bitch, shorty wrapped around my arm while I'm palming her tits. Like,
Mhm.
that's your, that's what you get in exchange for what you went through. It was a
Yeah,
clever, well done
of
track, man.
course, bro.
So
I appreciate it. It's one of my
salute,
favorite
man.
joints.
Yeah, man. So track nine, Six Sense. Just gonna go through a couple more tracks here that
Mm-hmm.
that stood out. We were talking, right, and you were asking me what my favorites were. Like, I like a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
tracks, but I said I think this is the one. This might be the single in my humble
Yeah,
opinion, right? And it's your most accessible track, but the concept is you having a feeling of death in the air. And this is like your lightest track, almost not lightest, but you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Which tells you about Javi Darko as an artist. If you're just tuning in, it seems like you're wondering who will die next, and then you get a call, and your dad passed
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
that's I don't really know where to go from here, but this is where you're going with your subject matter. I don't know. Is there anything you want to say about the track or
That was
before
all
I?
just very real. Like I know a lot of the times I try to blur fiction and reality, but
Yeah,
like that song right there, every part of it was real.
that's
There was
wild.
no drama whatsoever. Like
Yeah,
not to get too into detail, but like almost a month or a couple of weeks before he passed, I was definitely getting this feeling in the air and like a thought just
wow,
ringing in my head, like, yo, death is coming soon, prepare yourself. I just never would know who it was. And as the day got closer to his death, that feeling just got stronger and stronger and stronger.
that's wild,
And
man.
yeah, then it happened. You know what I'm saying?
So,
So yeah,
so,
shit is crazy, but we all connected, I guess, because there's no way I sense that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. Well, sorry. I know this is not new, but sorry to hear,
Nah,
man.
you good, bro.
But do you get feelings like this? Like, is this part of what makes hobby hobbies? You get like voices or messages from the other side, or I don't know what is
Yeah,
this?
not to sound too crazy or too out there, but like most definitely, you know what I'm saying? I try to keep it to myself or just keep it into the music because you speak those type of things out loud and people that don't understand may look at you a certain way.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it's all very real. You know what I'm saying? Like I
yeah,
feel like we all connected to a higher force that's guiding the way shit flows.
right,
And some people are either aware of it and can tap into things like that, and some people just, ain't aware and don't really connect to it.
right.
And I feel like I'm one of those people that are just connected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Word.
So Jaw King is like that was peak songwriting. Yeah, it was eloquently written. Like things like symbolism sticks out, which I think would make it great for a single.
Yeah,
That,
word.
that that's a popular like. I'm not up on rock music. I've listened to rock music. I don't know my way around like
Mm-hmm.
rock, but that's a big song. I've heard it before. Can I ask you what sample? That's not Pink Floyd, is it?
Nah, it's not Pink Floyd. It's damn, I forgot the name of the band, but it's a song from like the '60s, "The Summer of Love."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it's "I Love to Change the World." I just forgot the name of the band.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard it before. That's for sure.
yeah, it's
Um,
classic. It's a classic.
so the second and last track, "I Am Become Death." So you said that you actually produced this one, right?
Yes, yes.
Um, you got a woman singing in Spanish, mentioning Lucifer. Can I ask you what you're sampling, unless you want to keep it a secret? But like,
Yeah, it's
it was kind of
actually
disturbing, like
it's
So yeah, man.
all good. It's that was definitely the goal. Like I wanted that one to be like one of the uncomfortable songs on the album.
Yeah,
So that song is actually in Portuguese, not Spanish, so it's Brazilian, and it's from a band called Os Mutantes, so that's like the mutants. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And it's
right,
from their song Ave Lucifer, which is like Ave Maria, but obviously they flipped it.
right,
And what the woman is saying in the sample is bring Lucifer to me, but put him in a tray so like I could eat him. You know what I mean? But it's
right.
more poetic, but that's just the literal Portuguese to English translation.
Yeah,
So I just thought it was fitting, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the reason why people shied from occult science back in the day was because they felt like it had to do with like summoning demons and worshiping the devil. And while it could go into that, it was a big misconception about what alchemists were truly trying to achieve. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I kind of just wanted to embody that little part of it. You know what I mean? Like the horror movie side of alchemy, so to speak.
So,
You know?
so, so there, like, there's one thing I want to say. I feel like it's very important, in my opinion, hip hop to have different perspectives on shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To push the boundaries of the art form and the expression, because hip hop has always had its naysayers. They still exist today. Like what you can do with hip hop,
Yeah.
and I respect the perspective that you bring, and the way you describe shit in rhyme, and
Mm-hmm.
the soundscape you put behind it. You definitely leave an impression. You know what
That's
I'm
love,
saying?
bro.
So yeah, man. Um, and I wish I quoted something that symbol that shows you like hallucinating about what you're seeing. You got bars like that, but do you use like hallucinogens like shrooms to like? Are you rapping about shit you've seen on like a shroom high, or like, I don't know, DMT or something like that? Is that one part of your toolkit for writing rhymes?
Yes, I don't want to say it's part of the toolkit, but it serves as a source for inspiration. You know what I'm saying? I definitely eased up with it, like as I grow older and as I develop over time. But like when I was young, like definitely, I tripped a whole lot. So a lot of those images kind of just stay in my brain. You know what I'm saying? They ain't never leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I talked to another artist that said like did a lot of that in the bush, in the forest, like a decade ago, but he still taps into that, like all the shit he saw
Yeah,
in
yeah.
his
Certain things just
current
don't
rhymes.
leave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So on that track, you know what I mean. You got more jarring lyrics. Am I okay to quote a couple more,
Yeah,
or you
code
good?
everything, bro. Yeah,
All
you
right,
good.
dope, dope. So this reminds me of Nas when he said snuffing. I went to hell for snuffing Jesus, man.
Okay.
You're like you're like when I was yeah, you're like tapping in my graphic nature, Roman Pope assassinator, rap gladiator slash Catholic decapitator, Anakin unraveling his wrath until he can't return. I used to want to save the world, now I'm trying to make it burn. Yearning for my innocence, searching for a letter leading to a better ending where my legacy is infinite.
Mhm.
Um, Wanted to ask you, I don't want to necessarily get too controversial, but it seems through your lyrics like formal religion seems to maybe rub you the wrong way. I don't know if that's a fair statement. Like, how do you? I'm not very religious, but
Mm,
how do you feel about religion? If you care to answer the question,
yeah, nah, I'm very open to everything and I'm never against religion, but I also see like some of the hypocrisy that it brings along with it. And I've witnessed it firsthand and been through it firsthand, like how damaging extreme faith and religion could be,
right,
whether to other people or to myself. And that was something I never really got behind. And when you do your research on most of the major religions, like initially they were kind of used as a source to like, keep people imposed. So that's something I never really got with. I'm very anti-institution, but at the end of the day, I'm very pro spirituality and having a relationship with God or whatever you believe in. You know what I'm saying?
got it. So
Yeah.
you grew up in a religious household, or
My family wasn't. Oh, hold on. My family wasn't too religious. You know what I'm saying? But I went to like a Catholic school for some time, and I just been exposed to certain settings where like going to church was mandatory. You know what I
right?
mean? So
Yeah,
yeah. Shit shit was always I hear y'all, but I'm not too convinced, and I see a lot of contradictory shit going down. So I never really gave it my full attention. But I've studied everything. I've read a lot of ancient texts. You know what I mean? And I respect it at the end of the day if it helps somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd say I'm finding a higher power in my own way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot, especially the last few years, man, about myself and what I believe in, man. But it's all
Word.
on my own. I'm not really well read on religion. So
Yeah.
yeah, so interesting to hear your take.
Mm-hmm.
I'll quote one more set of bars. I mean, Javi, you got a ton of bars that stick out that leave an impression. We could go on, but I think the listeners should peep the project and experience it for themselves instead of me reading all them. But I'll just quote one more. Um, you're like, this is track two, Parabolic Paranoia. You're like, this that real shit, suffering from what I had to deal with, like living in a system, even with that kill kids,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get along with them, scrapping after dawn as my back's against the wall while the staff pull me off of them.
Mm-hmm.
All this because hating on the fact I had the pen and pad up all night writing raps.
Mm-hmm.
True story, I
Very
assume.
true story. Very true story. Um, Not to get too into detail, but you know, when I was young, like I got into a lot of trouble, so you know, I ended up getting sent to a few institutions and group homes and things of that nature. And shit was not all peaches and cream. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, you with kids that are unstable, kids that got their own situations going on, and that led to a lot of conflict. And sometimes the conflict was as simple as literally, I'm up at night writing raps. Homie had a problem with it in the morning, and now we fighting at breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's and it's not jail. It's not like I was in the streets selling drugs or doing any of those things that are the common stories in rap. But you know, I've seen a certain side of life, and it's definitely stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? It's a little hard to shed at times, but you just keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
How important was hip hop for you to get through, the things you went through, things like that? Is
Critical.
it an important
It was
critical?
critical. It was critical. It was really the only thing keeping me grounded for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Because at a certain point, when you're away from family, when you're away from a lot of things, it's like you kind of have to rely on yourself to be grounded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
music was how I found that. You know what I'm saying? Music and exercise. Those are my
yeah,
main two. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. The, those are my things right now. But yeah, even me, like every time I had a serious low in my life, it was always hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I'm so passionate about the fucking subject.
Me too.
Even I'm 42 right now, but I'm still, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Passionate about it. So
that is
yeah,
very
man.
real, man.
Yeah, so I peeped the interview where you said if you're eight, like you're rhyming for your 8-year-old self, like if your 8-year-old
Hmm.
self would fuck with it, then
Hmm.
then you're writing it down, right? I thought that was
Yeah,
a great perspective, a great way of doing it. Um, and yeah, I don't know what I had to say about that, but I thought that was a cool insight.
yeah, bro.
Um, I also caught on your bars that you might live like your roommates with Jaw King. Is that true? You guys live
Nah,
together?
nah, nah. We gonna move in together soon, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal. But word.
I imagine like I'm curious to know like how much that makes you like better artists down the road when you guys like block out all the bullshit and just I assume that's part of the goal, but
Yeah,
uh
yeah. It's definitely time to lock in, and we're gonna get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Right
yeah,
now, we just building and sorting out life shit. You know how it
yeah,
goes.
yeah. Do you know when Jaw King is dropping
Oh,
next? I'm
he is
like
dropping
eagle antis
very soon. I don't want to give no dates without his permission, but he is dropping very soon. And you know, I recorded the whole shit with him. It's fucking crazy. It's his best work yet, and I
yeah,
think longtime fans and new coming fans are gonna have their minds blown. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I'm
yeah.
not really saying this because he my man's. I felt like if I didn't know him and I heard this project, it'd be some groundbreaking shit. So yeah, he definitely got
No,
one in the clip.
he's incredibly talented. I honestly can't wait, man. Again, you guys bring that raw edge, raw lyricism and poetry, man. I'm like I'm a junkie for that shit.
Yeah,
So
that's
so
love,
so,
bro.
so can't wait. So I thought I'd switch gears. I also caught that you guys went to like community college for like audio engineering. Like
Yep,
you weren't homies at that point, and
yep.
you realized you both kick rhymes, and then you started recording a shitload of material. Just as a gem, I actually wanted to ask you about the program you took. Was it audio engineering or audio
Yeah,
recording?
yeah, it was studio recording technology. It was a SRT certificate. You know what I'm saying? Well, it was supposed to be an associate's degree, but then he changed it mid-semester to a certificate. But yeah, it was studio recording technology, so we was learning everything from Pro Tools to Logic and live instrumentation and things of that nature.
Would you say that was a worthy investment in retrospect? Was it worth the time and money for you?
It was until it wasn't, you know what I mean? Because that's what I said, you know what I mean? It went from associate's degree to a certificate. So you had to double major and it became a whole hectic process. And COVID shut the whole shit down. So it became a mess real quick, but it was a blessing because it gave me a background for audio engineering, which I already had, but it was something to hone in on and take it seriously. And
Right.
I met my brother, you know what I'm saying? I met Ja.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that whole year or two that we known each other through that, like we really built a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's probably foundational to get your skill level where it's
hell
at.
yeah, hell yeah. And shit
So,
just
so
played out like a movie at certain points. Like I can't really describe it,
yeah.
bro. When I met Josh, something kind of like clicked in the universe, and
Right.
shit just started adding up together. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I personally think it's critical to connect with like-minded artists to really push
Yes.
yourself because the world is trying to pull you away from art at all times. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That's what I wish when I was younger I was more like connected with certain artists. You know what I mean? That would have pushed me a little more. So I think that seems critical, man.
Word.
So
Word.
yeah, man. So I do you have any visuals coming up for the project? Anything in the way of like promotion? Do you have a plan, or unless you want to keep it to yourself? But I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep things under wraps for now, but I definitely got at least two visuals confirmed for the project that we going on,
Yeah,
and a bunch of just content on social media to roll out. And we also got some physicals in the work too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yep.
A- Anything in the way of live performances, anything like that, or is that important to you at this point, at this stage, or
As of right now, no. I'm still just going on this press run and trying to secure certain deals to get the ball rolling. But the shows are definitely gonna be there soon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep the crowd updated.
dope, dope, dope? So I saw your freestyle on Shade 45. I believe it was shortly after our interview.
Yep.
First of all, to me, it's a big deal to get on there. So
That's
congrats.
love, bro. Thank you.
You were alongside Jay Royale and Josiah the Gift.
Hmm.
Um,
Both crazy.
I feel like by the end you got a big response, but I
Hmm.
felt like in the middle, DJ Eclipse and I believe it was DJ Riz were trying to like decipher what you're saying or where you're going,
Hmm.
and by the end you got like a big response. To me, you killed it. But do you feel that your style is so different? Like, do you think people know how to respond to it yet for the first time they hear you, or do you always catch people off guard?
I feel like I always catch people off guard, but I like that, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I choose the style because it's unorthodox and it's not what you expect to hear. So once you hear it, whether it's shock or satisfaction, I like the feeling regardless. You know what I'm saying? Because either way, this shit gonna stick with you, whether you fuck with it or not.
Right, right, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely sticks with you. Shock value for sure.
Hmm.
Wanted to ask you another question before I forget. Divine is can you tell me more about that label? Because
Yeah,
it
that
seems to be
was
your label.
Ja created the label. You know what I'm saying? I just once I met him, we got close. We started building. He was like, "Yo, I want you to be part of the team, and become a central piece." You know what I mean? And once we clicked up and really locked in, the rest is history. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Devon became family, and we just made a lot of strides together. You know what I'm saying?
got it. Is it kind of like your own umbrella version of umbrella, like doing your own thing, trying to combine resources and
Yeah,
shit? Like,
yeah, yeah, shit of that nature. But I feel like we we're trying to be as cohesive as possible, even though we in our own lane.
Right.
Like, for example, I don't know if the fans caught this yet, but we designed all our albums to be like a MCU, like a cinematic universe. You
It
know what I mean?
feels like it, bro. It feels like it, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like there's not too many people doing that out here. So we really try to keep a consistent theme and branding rather than just have a bunch of artists in a collective. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
So,
right. I
yeah,
mean, you guys are going after making timeless shit. You know what I mean? Classic shit,
exactly.
which is the shit that I appreciate the most, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
so look, I just have one closing question for you. Um, Last we spoke, there was a question I gave you and Jaw King at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the rap game in the next 5 years? And your knee jerk reaction was in my clutches or in our clutches.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm talking to you 8 months later. I just want to see where your heart and determination is at. Is your sentiment as strong today for that? How are
Yeah, I
you
feel like
feeling?
it's just getting closer and closer. You know what I'm saying? It's just getting
Yeah,
closer and closer, and I feel like every day I wake up, I have something reminding me that it's closer than you think. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
man.
yeah, that's where I'm
More
at with it.
more power to you. So, in my opinion,
Appreciate
again,
you.
with heads like you, Jaw King, Griot Noi, in my opinion, hip hop's in good hands.
Mm.
So thank you for all the music you guys put out. Any final words before we depart? Anything you want to share with us or final words?
Nah, just thank you, bro, for really taking the time to like analyze and sit with the tape. You know what I'm saying? Like I could tell you really study because I didn't even have the lyrics up, and you had the shits written down and ready to go. So
Yeah,
I was just like, that's dedication enough. So I really just appreciate what you do. You know what I'm saying? And thank you.
thank you, man. Yeah, like I only listen to the artists I interview. I strategically do that because I want to focus on like a couple artists at a time
Mm-hmm.
for my own sanity, bro. I don't like jumping around. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So and just bringing respect to the art form's name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. So I just want to give shout outs to everyone that tapped in: Antonio Sanchez, Eric the Barber, Dia, Willar, Picture Three, Chris Svensson, Jaw King, Griot, whole bunch of people. Thank you all for tapping
Word up.
in, and have a great night.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.